It's always the privilege to talk in front of an all of my esteemed teacher. I will say that teacher because irrespective of teacher, data has been started to you lifelong appreciation. And special, this is specific privilege, another reason is that I was student here. It's always been excitement when you talk in front of the students, plus the place where you have completed your postgraduate. Sarita, Dr. Sarita is always my friend, my same batch. She also told me the same thing, that when we get an opportunity to share our knowledge and experience with a place where we were earlier, it's very interesting for us. And thanks to all the students, my department, research scholars, and all other faculty members, uh, lecturers and leaders and professors of college who are joined here. So my talk is on a topic which may or may not be so interesting, but taxonomy, as you know, that is a very complex subject. As my teacher, Mr. Odisha, when he taught us, he always gave us a insight how to go ahead with taxonomy. Taxonomy is also very interesting. Once you enter into that, it took 10, 12, 15 years to understand why we say that particular word on that particular day. So now we are in a stage to say that, okay, we are a taxonomist. So it took a long time. So basing on that, my topic is I'm working as a botanist, a scientist in Odisha Biodiversity Board, which is coming under the Department of Forest Environment and Climate. And we have research scholars, around 25 research scholars. Senior Post IRS officer of the state with the chairman, and Dr. Niyar Ranjan who happens to be a student here, he is a member secretary. And we are working across the entire state of Odisha on this biodiversity. Sir was asking in the beginning, in the afternoon, sir told me that there is an assembly question on Herocarpus santarinus. Sir, there was another question 1 week back about yellow beauty and monosperma. Hଳଦିଆ କଳା ସହିତ ଗୋଟେ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଥିଲା, ସେଟା କୋଉଠି କୋଉଠି ଅଛି ଆସେମ୍ବଲି କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ହେଇଥିଲା ଆଉ ତାର ସୁରକ୍ଷା ପାଇଁ ସରକାର କ'ଣ କରୁଛି। ତ ଇମିଡିଏଟଲି ଆମେ ତାର ଆନ୍ସର ଦେବା ପାଇଁ ସର୍ଭେ କରିଥିଲୁ। କଳାହାଣ୍ଡି ଆଉ ବଲାଙ୍ଗୀର ଦୁଇଟା ଜାଗାରେ ପାଖାପାଖି 20ଟା ଗଛ ଆଇଡେଣ୍ଟିଫାଇ କଲା, ସେଥିରେ ଫ୍ଲାୱରିଂ ହେଇଛି, ତା ମଞ୍ଜି ସିଡ୍ କଲେକ୍ସନ କରି ତାକୁ କେମିତି ପ୍ରୋପାଗେଟ୍ କରାହବ, ଅର୍ନାମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ପ୍ଲାଣ୍ଟ ହିସାବରେ ୟୁଜ୍ କରାଯାଇପାରିବ, କାଗଜ ସଚେତନ। ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଆସେମ୍ବଲି କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଥିଲା ନନ୍ଦନକାନନ ଯୋଉ ଆମର ତୃତୀୟ ଜୈବ ବିବିଧତା ଅଧ୍ୟୟନ କରିବା ବାୟୋଡାଇଭର୍ସିଟି ହେରିଟେଜ୍ ସାଇଟ୍ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆ ଦେଇଛି, ସେଠି କ'ଣ କ'ଣ ଔଷଧୀୟ ଗଛ ଅଛି, ତାର ସୁରକ୍ଷା ପାଇଁ ସରକାର କ'ଣ ବ୍ୟବସ୍ଥା ନେଇଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ତାକୁ କେମିତି ରକ୍ଷଣାବେକ୍ଷଣ କରାଯାଇପାରିବ। ତ ପ୍ରତି ଆସେମ୍ବଲି ସେସନରେ ଅଲମୋଷ୍ଟ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଆସୁଛି ପ୍ଲାଣ୍ଟ ଉପରେ, ଆନିମଲ ଉପରେ, ବାୟୋଡାଇଭର୍ସିଟି କନଜରଭେସନ ଉପରେ। Thank God that biodiversity board is gearing up to the next level. We are contributing significantly wherever there is a management plan and there is work all kind of. Thank you. So my topic is on developing long-term strategies and action plans for plants of conservation in Odisha. So why I told plants of conservation concern? Because if I were told that threatened plants, the story would have been different. As Sagar sir left from the point where I am starting it. So he was asking about the demand of plant genetic resources so that they can produce a crop. We have answer for that. I will tell in the last of my presentation. So there are three important aspects of plants of conservation. One is any plant which is having ecological significance, biological significance, and socio-economic significance. Socio-economic significance is the most important component right now because the need and demand of the people requires a lot from our industry. So that any plant which is having coming under sites, medicinal, cultural, and edible will come under social, and IUCN related species, threatened and endemic will come biological component, and ecological part is wide of relatives and climate resilient species. Right now, because we are facing a lot of climate change issues, and there is a solution in plant products because unless and until you identify plants, those are resilient to climate to sustain the climate change. They will be very useful during drug development and crop improvement programs. So we are also working on that particular work. We have identified around 160 species which are resilient to climate. That is a new insight of our research. Next. So you know why? Because students are here. So I just tell something very common things about the student. Why the plants have become threatened right now? There are multiple reasons. The most important reason is the developmental activities, which is now going on in a rapid rate. Second is species invasion. Invasive species. You will see a lot of invasive species coming from different geographical locations and entering into our native species and making them threatened. Then forest fire, mining, industry, extension of industry, then pollution and dredging, and these are major cause plus the recent climate change issues. They are making all those plants threatened. So this is the statistics which is very important for us. 54,733 plants taxa in India have been, from the 54,733 plant taxa in India, 2970 have been assessed by the IUCN. Only 2970. Of these, 2043 are coming under least concern. I will tell what is that least concern. Then 155 has critically endangered, 274 has endangered, 213 has vulnerable, and 80 are near threatened. Of the known 3,50,000 vascular plants, IUCN Red List in 2022 documented 62,660 species, 18% sample is subject to taxonomic geographical threat, all kind of things. And the Convention on International Trades in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora sites regulate trade for 39,000 species. Sir was telling about this aspect. Most of which 85% are plants. So keeping in all these view, it is very essential for every state has to identify their threatened plants, and which has not been done. Most of the states have not identified their respective threatened plants, even though India has identified their threatened plants. But state level list is not available till now. So you can see this graph, which says that cycads species are mostly maximum they are threatened. And the first point is extinct in wild. Most of the cycads we call is living fossil cycads like dingo and all cycad species. So they are facing extinct in wild. They are high risk of extinction. Then the maximum number of endangered species are also coming under the cycads. Even people know that amphibians which are more threatened, the cycads are equally threatened. So this is IUCN list of criteria and categories. There are categories and criteria. There are 9 categories under IUCN, and there are 5 criteria. This is the status. Like most of the people, when we tell threatened means there are only three categories. One is critically endangered, then vulnerable. These 3 are called threatened. Rest are other criteria. Extinct in wild means like Indian cheetah has been extinct from India. So that is called extinct in wild. Now they have introduced cheetah into Indian subcontinent, I mean India. Then there is data deficient and is not evaluated. So there are 9 criteria, and there are 5 categories. Sorry, 9 categories and 5 criteria. On the basis of IUCN extinction rate, they only focus on decline, geographical land, and population size. They are the 3 main criteria on which a species has been assessed by the IUCN. So there are 2 methods actually. One is global assessment, where IUCN says that globally if species is threatened or not, and coming under those 9 categories. And there is a category called there is assessment process for state level or regional level assessment. That's what we are doing. The assessment at regional level. So earlier only 1 plant and 13 animals have been identified as threatened by the National Biodiversity Authority for the state of Odisha. So you can imagine how much effort was required during this time when board was not established at that time. So no one was further. As per the Act, the state board needs to identify who are the threatened plant and declare the threatened plant, list of threatened plants. So that is the major mandate of the board. So coming to the flora of Odisha, we know that our Odisha is rich in plant and animal resources. So almost 2,800 angiosperms, 1,000 of algae, 300 species of bryophytes, 276 lichens, 176 pterophytes, and 22 gymnosperms have been identified from the state. Out of that 22 gymnosperm, 5 are native and 17 are introduced one. And almost other organisms, other group of plants are native to the state of Odisha. So before we started this research, it took around 5 years to come to all corners of the state to collect the information, collect where the plant is, consolidate a lot of forest division, their management plan, went to the field and collected those information. We have almost covered all the districts except few districts are there, 4 or 5 districts, and within 1 or 2 months we need to cover before we are going to do a camp workshop for declaration of the final list of species. So these are glimpses of some of the sites where our scholars visited and collected information about each and every species, their distribution, their status, their ecological parameter, everything. So these are the sites where we have visited. So what methods we adopted? This is very interesting because to declare the threatened species is very tough, and it needs lot of exercise, lot of fieldwork, review of literature, consultation, organic consultation. So past we did a critical review of existing literature in the state of Odisha and published literature. My teachers, my seniors, my friends, those who are belongs to botany department, they are working in different research institutes, colleges and universities. They have conducted a lot of studies. We have gathered information from that. Then we made consultation in the herbaria, like we have herbarium and plus where National Botanical Herbarium also and BSI Calcutta also we made went through their consultation and made some expert consultation, those who are working in taxonomy field. Then we have verified all those lists by using Plant of the World, which is now latest one. Then we made prepared a checklist of plants of conservation of plants for conservation of concern in Odisha. Then we have verified each species with IUCN red list criteria categories. It took 4 years, 5th year is running, to collect all those ecological parameters for each species on spot, including their habitat distribution, total area of occurrence and extent of occurrence in their identified habitat. And the final checklist has been prepared. Only 2 work is left. One is ecological list modeling. We are conducting that, plus a camp workshop, conservation assessment and management prioritization workshop, where all our experts will be invited and we will evaluate each species following the IUCN criteria and categories. So this is the glimpse how we are collecting the information about. We are going to meet each and every species. We are collecting their GPS locations, their ecological parameters. All the threatened species, all those plants of conservation concern have been identified. Then we went to the field, collected all those ecological parameter data, their status and their applications. Like Sagar sir was telling, each and every species is having 1 or more applications. We have also collected the ethnovertical application related to each and every species. This is how we did a species distribution modeling. We collected those GPS locations of each species. Then we put forth in GIS software. Accent is available also. So using that, we have identified. These are 4 species: Alsophila spinulosa, Liquicida ramosismum, then that is Doriopteris ludens and Protectum right. 4 species I have shown here. We have did all for all the 166 species. So this is our finding, and updated checklist of 166 plants have been prepared as plants of conservation for Odisha. Out of it, there are like 55 trees, 45 hops, shrubs 19, orchids 24 and climber 23. You see that orchid in the right side. I put some photograph here categorically and intentionally so that you will see how our plants look beautiful. You never get an opportunity to see those plants. They are very unique and very rare and site specific. You need to climb up like 4,000 feet above sea level in almost all leaves and tree tops. There only you can see a glimpse of 10 or 20 individuals maximum. Maximum 10 to 20 individuals. Just imagine how unique, how rare those species are. This is a Pectialis ligansia. This is orchid which is pregnant, very pregnant. If you crossbreed with other commercially, non-commercial and common orchids, you will get very beautiful orchids. So orchids are very good demand in the market. There's a long story to be told ahead. So then we did a survey of endemic plants of Odisha. Before I tell endemic about it,